All's well that ends well. For every Canadian hockey fan out there, including our very own Sammy McKee.
He did pass the breathalyzer before the show. He is under the legal limit.
Welcome into the Real Kyper and Bourne Show. We are live on Sportsnet 590 The Fan, Sportsnet 360, and Sportsnet Plus. Justin Bourne, yours truly, Nick Kypreos, Derek Brandeo, and Jen Rolnick with you for the next 2 hours. As Sammy looks like he just gave birth. He is one happy guy. On the back of Connor McDavid, who became the second player to score an overtime goal to clinch an international NHL tournament. It was Daryl Sittler nearly 50 years ago.
Yeah, and that doesn't include the Olympics, of course, but that's, yeah.
His goal at 8 minutes and 18 seconds of overtime off the back of a Mitch Marner pass secures Team Canada's victory and the first ever Donald J. Trump Cup.
I didn't know they had named it that.
Buddy,
That's a surprise.
20 years from now, I will look at that trophy and it will be the Trump Cup.
No kidding, eh?
That's amazing.
How can it not?
How did you do
His
that?
finger was on the scale enough.
But it's all over this tournament.
Yeah.
So we took the Trump Cup back to back to Canada.
Yes.
We took it from their province and brought it home.
Out of their hands.
Yeah, I mean, there was a political undertone to the whole thing. There's no doubt about it, and that gave it a lot of the weight that the tournament had. So, yeah.
I
Sure.
think when we left
Same
the
as everything
show
else.
about 24 hours ago, we had said 3-2, Canada win.
We did say that. We agreed on a score, which almost never happens. So,
Sammy, you
Well,
okay? Tell us
yeah.
about your night, Sammy.
I have one overwhelming emotion from today, from the moment that puck entered the net, from everything. And the only emotion that really resides in my brain, outside of euphoria, happiness, feeling like I want to rub it in their face, is just extreme relief.
Yeah.
And when Marner that digs that puck off the half boards, fires it right out in front, right onto the stick of Connor McDavid, I didn't even really need to watch it go in. You knew it was entering the net. And we got the clip of it here if you're watching on Sportsnet. I got to tell you,
oh,
there's no feeling in sports like your favorite hockey team scoring an overtime winner goal. There's no sports moment that tops it. There's nothing as final. There's nothing as euphoric. And to have it be Connor McDavid in this situation with everything that surrounded this that we've talked about all week, to have it enter the net like that, I honestly can't believe we got that moment last night. Like, I truly am almost brought to tears watching that and thinking about that. And you can talk about made up. You can talk about everything.
Mm-hmm.
But those guys out there played one of the highest level games you could ever imagine. And
Hellebuck's not within a foot of catching that, by the way.
we just beat them.
Great shot.
We just beat them like we always do. Every time it gets to that situation, we always win.
Okay, let's follow it up with
That was a hockey game, boy.
a Kipper's Clipper on Canada's big win. Let's start with head coach John Cooper on how he feels about Canada needing this one.
Can you sense what this win might have meant back home for a number of reasons? I mean, Canadian junior team losing back-to-back years in the quarterfinals, and, the country's national pride have been dented from that as far as its sport. Political tensions really boiling over the last few days, just everything combined. And I know you tried not to have that go into your room before a game like this, but now that it's over, can you sense the magnitude of this victory?
Well, I just hope Canada's proud, because every player in that room is proud to be a Canadian. And yeah, did we need a win? Not only like our team, but Canada needed a win. And the players bared that on their shoulders, and they took it seriously. And this one was different. This wasn't a win for themselves. This was a win for 40+ million people. And the guys knew it, and they delivered.
Well, never cried on TV before, boys, but holy.
I mean, Jesus. All right, there, kid.
It was very emotional for everybody last night. It was personal. This thing turned real fast into very personal. Like they struck a nerve, and they still do. I'm listening to the press secretary from the White House saying that they were looking forward to beating what we will soon see our 51st state. It's like
Ted Cruz said, "We'll play you for Canada."
It was more than just a hockey game or an exhibition game.
And there's something belittling about the whole thing, right? Like, I know that Canadians get, accused of having an inferiority complex, but how can you not with that sort of off the cuff dismissal from the highest levels of government of our neighbor, that we, by the way, went to war with and fought and died beside and all that. So Canadians beyond the young generation were hurt by a lot of that, I think. And so, it did take on higher level, higher stakes. And it's just a game, of course, but this one wasn't. And our team played in a way that people, I think, are proud of, right? Disciplined, hard hockey. They take a penalty that game?
There's only one penalty called, which I loved.
Yeah, America did not. U.S. did not get a power play.
Right.
No, they did not. So, you see the tweet or whatever it was on True Social from Donald J. And I mean, maybe I'll borrow JT Miller's subscription to that account to try to see if I can see something from him. But I didn't see anything today. It's just so quintessentially American that, I see everybody down there being like, oh, it didn't even matter anyway the second the puck enters the net. Yeah. Meanwhile, all they did for a full week was talk junk. They're better. We're better. Yeah. And it just, you know what? You're not. Yeah. And I'm sorry, you don't have Connor McDavid. That's what makes Canada Canada, is that they can have guys that, they're getting closer, they're coming along. But right now, they don't have guys like Connor McDavid. They don't have guys like Nathan McKinnon. They don't have guys like Cale Makar. When it comes down to it, it's close, it's tight, but the best guys from Canada always rise above. And they did again last night. It's a torch pass moment, 87, 97, golden goals.
15 years later, 15 years in a week, I think it was, between their goals.
It's just as sweet as it gets for Canadian fans. I can't imagine it be any sweeter than it is today. Truly.
Where do you want to start just in terms of the overall feel or look of the game for you? You want to go into the overtime goal? JB, I'll let you go first.
Well, I think one of the things I'll take away from that game was it was really hard for anyone to look good offensively. The D was so tight. And I think John Cooper deserves a lot of credit for seeing that Mitch Marner was one of the guys that was making little plays and, elevates him accordingly, gets him on McDavid's line. They're able to have success.
Yeah.
Cooper deserves credit for sticking with Binnington the whole way through. Yeah. McDavid, or what he did with Marner, I just thought everything he touched turned to gold. Yeah. Marner with 2 big plays for Canada.
It can't be easy to look down that bench and see all these respective superstars from their own teams and then start figuring out in a hurry who's going out on the ice next.
DeMarc Stone doesn't have it tonight or can't skate with this tonight.
Doesn't go, and even Marchand kind of struggled a little bit with the speed game now. Mitch, you mentioned Marner. Did he have 3 shifts in the second period? And I guess the story goes that I think Rick Tocchet kind of got into Cooper's ear a little bit. You got to get this guy out more in the third period.
Marner?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I thought he was impactful right from the start. I've never, that's as impressed with Mitch as I've been in a hockey game in terms of decisiveness, reads. He was great defensively. The slip pass to Bennett, obviously, which is, if you're talking about the 2 assists, the way more beautiful one is the Bennett one, where he senses that he's cutting in front of him, drops it through to him, Bennett shoots it upstairs. Impactful.
Yeah.
Let's go to John Cooper on lifting Mitch Marner in the third period.
Stoney I thought that line had great chemistry, but, ultimately in the end, as that game went on, Mitch had legs tonight, and that kid can make plays. And as we saw tonight, he just needed one chance to make a play, and he did. And just, it comes down to a gut feel and how the guys are going. And I felt they that those three guys could do it, and they did.
Some of the, the best players got to be your best player sort of thing. Nathan McKinnon was an absolute force. Cale Makar.
This game's so funny, too, because Mitch Marner, and I watched him, and I've watched him very closely over the years, and there's just such a fine line between success or what's interpreted as a non-successful game.
Mm-hmm.
And the narrative could have easily gone the other way. What was the difference between Mitch last night or Mitch in any game sevens is sometimes that you make a great pass, and the difference was Sam Bennett scored.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't shoot it into the goalie's chest. He passes it to McDavid. McDavid buries it. He's the winner. Those guys miss the net, and they lose in overtime, and, he's doesn't rise to a big occasion. Connor McDavid did not have a great game, right?
It was like Mitch in game 1 against Sweden. I didn't think Mitch was good against Sweden, but he had a big moment.
He couldn't.
Didn't-
He was fumbling the puck everywhere last
Everywhere.
night. Looked tight as hell.
Did not look. Scores the game-winning goal.
Yeah.
Player of the game. I don't know what they gave him, MVP,
No,
and
McKinnon.
Bob's your
MVP.
uncle.
Yeah.
But it's just such a fine line, for these guys
It
on
is.
what's deemed a
Well,
success and what's not.
Take Austin Matthews. Matthews was 10 out of 10 for me last night. I mean, he was all over the puck. In overtime,
Yeah.
he felt like the only guy who could score for the U.S. He was all over the
I
net.
expected Austin Matthews to look like that the whole tournament.
Yeah.
He showed up too late.
Yeah, well, whatever.
Well, I
he
mean,
was
They were in the final.
What's that?
fantastic.
They were in the final, and he was great in the final, in the biggest game. But the thing is,
My point, hold on.
Go
Let me
ahead,
make
yeah,
my
yeah.
point on me.
Yeah.
He was fantastic and picks Mitch's pocket. You're in the, gets robbed by Binnington. He's all over it. It doesn't quite go under an arm or whatever.
Yet he scores the overtime, and Binnington doesn't save it. He's
It's
like the
same
greatest
play.
big time player that
Yeah.
ever lived now.
And so analytics tries to find the guys who we don't pick out because they don't have the big moments, but still play well. But if you play well often enough,
Yeah.
you will have the big moments.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think if you're a Leaf fan watching that game, both guys with 2 assists, both guys all over the play, it was tough to be all over the play. I think an encouraging day, at least for them, as we do our Leafs hour here.
I think that going into this game, any Leaf fan would tell you that this hasn't been a great tournament for the Leafs.
Mhm.
And they've had 3 of the biggest stars in this tournament. And, they talk about Willie going out early, Matthews and Marner both not being particularly great outside of the 3-on-3 winner for Marner. But in the biggest game of the tournament, the 2 Leafs were 2 of the most impactful players on the ice. I thought Marner, outside of Bennett, outside of McKinnon for me, was the best forward on Canada. And Matthews for me was probably the best forward on America. Like,
Only
it's
thing
just,
is Brady Kachuk's a beast.
yeah, you're right. Kachuk was the best.
Yeah.
Kachuk, then Matthews. So
And
it's amazing how quickly it flips, like you said.
and they don't. McDavid doesn't even get that opportunity. Mitch doesn't get that opportunity without Binnington.
Yeah.
My God. So I think that's what's amazing about just the sport of hockey in general, where when it's at this highest stakes, the line in the difference between, remember when Paul Maurice last year talked about when he got asked about what if you guys blew the 3-0 lead?
Mhm.
And he's like, I don't want to live in that world.
Mhm.
Like, I don't want to live in the world where I came in today and Jordan Binnington
It was just
didn't
trash.
stretch across and catch that shot from my least favorite player on planet Earth, Brady Kachuk. If he doesn't catch that puck, I don't want to think about what we're doing today.
Yeah.
Like, it's a horrible thing to even go through.
Binnington highlights for you.
But if you think about it, that's the fine line. Like, think about the whole world.
Yeah, it's not really fair though, right?
Well,
but it's just the
no,
way
it's
it
not.
is.
It's
not
but,
fair.
but it's just the way it is.
Life's
right?
not fair.
Yeah.
It's just it's sports.
But,
That's the
it's
way
funny
it
because
is.
we have Scott Niedermayer on yesterday, and he's talking about how he's on for the golden goal, first guy in for the hug, and he says, roll it back.
Coughed it up.
I cough it up. Luongo bails me out. One squeaks through Luongo there. Niedermayer's the GOAT. How we used to use the term GOAT.
Goat,
you
not
know?
not the
hero.
kid goat.
Yeah. It's a totally different world. And that's, I think, for a lot of Americans that watch that game, there's maybe a misunderstanding about what hockey is, because in, let's say, football, if you're a wide receiver, you almost can't be the guy who cost you the game. Yeah, you can drop the ball or whatever, but there's no way, like in hockey, you can go down that way and almost be the hero and 9 seconds later be a failure.
Yeah.
Like it can turn on you like that. every shift, which is why nerves they play into hockey like almost no other sport. You have to be able to have that composure. The Canadians have won Stanley Cups and had the composure in the end. They have the guys. So I said to you before the game, good for these guys to be in a big pressure moment. You kind of like laughed it off. They've had lots of big pressure moments. Not bad though.
No, 100%.
To be beside
No,
Sid
it's
and
nice.
McKinnon
It
and
is,
David.
It is, and it should make them feel different coming in
Here's
for
to hope.
sure. But some of these guys, again, they're still kind of the same players they were before. They just get a lucky bounce or
perception.
Someone puts the puck in, and now it's a different perception.
McDavid has
right?
not had team success yet, and then he shoots one in, and now they have. It's like, but if Matthews finishes it 2 shifts earlier, he's still a failure. And it's like, we have it off. For sure, we don't think about it all right.
But there's a big difference between giving it to a Connor McDavid to end the game or maybe Pontus Holmberg to end the game. And then Mitch is a failure because Pontus couldn't hit the side of a barn.
Well, I don't know how many shifts Pontus and Mitch have played together.
You get my point,
Yes,
though.
Yeah.
I do.
All right, let's go to John Cooper on the outstanding goaltending last night from Jordan Binnington.
Clip 7.
I mean, if we can be perfectly honest, probably the most scrutinized position going into this tournament was goaltending. And for me, it was you've got your guy and you're rolling with your guy. And I never doubted 1 ounce about ever pulling him, ever taking him out of a game, ever losing confidence in him because his gamemanship, his ability to rise at the big moment. And then even tonight, were there stressful moments for both goalies during the game? For sure there were. But it wasn't somewhere where if this game was in one in regulation, we were going to sit there and say, Jordan Binnington saved the game. But when it came to overtime and we needed him most, make the saves you're supposed to, and then make a few that you're not. And he saved his best for last, and that's what winners do. And there wasn't a chance I was not going to back the winner.
Oh my God. I'm feeling it again.
Just give him the spot
Give me
next February in the Olympics.
He's the goalie.
What choice do you have?
Do you have to kind of
I
watch
guess
him?
Logan Thompson is going to be, if he's an 880 and Logan Thompson's a 920.
What was he this year? 892? He's not that far off.
Oh, I know.
No,
And he's barely the guy.
there's zero question. That starting goalie next year, game 1 in Milan.
Don't you want to watch a little bit of the beginning of next
Logan
season?
Thompson?
He lets in muffins all the time. What's his saber? He's not had a good year. But this is a management group, and we poo-pooed them, myself included, for not including Logan Thompson and others that have been great this year. But they know him better than anybody else. And they trust him more than anybody else in these big games. And I saw Peter Baugh from, I don't know who he covers, but he works the Athletic, tweeted out, he's a flawed goalie, but his career numbers in winner-take-all games, 29 of 30 saves in 2019 second-round Game 7 against Dallas, 32 of 33 in the Stanley Cup Final Game 7 against Boston, 31 of 33 in the Four Nations Face-Off Final. You can't.
Phil Simmons is a rational confidence guy.
But you can't quantify clutch.
Yeah.
You just can't. And he is. Those 3 results alone show you that he is. So it's amazing.
And you got to give a ton of credit to that blue line, which probably we'd look at over the course of 20 or 30 years of Team Canada blue lines and say this one could arguably be amongst the weakest outside of the superstar of Cale Makar.
But also, we're without Pietrangelo, Theodore, Morrissey.
Those were big hits.
3 of our 6D weren't in that game. And I know some of the Americans were missing guys too, but we weren't missing nobody.
Big hits.
Yeah. I will say, nobody on earth aside from people who watched the Dallas Stars knowing about Thomas Harley being that good. I know a lot of people are going, we knew he was that good. Okay, that's fine. Most people weren't aware that Thomas Harley has that
He's
level.
still a young kid, though, right?
Yeah.
So that's...
How much did he end up playing last night? It had to be over 20. He was out there a ton. He was out there at the end of the game.
He's 18, 19 minutes, somewhere around there. He played just 5th most. But he...
Really?
Yeah. He was...
He was out there more than that.
He has a level that, I'm confident he'll be in Italy. This guy, we know what he's done offensively in the league. I didn't know that he was physical, that he was long, that he skates like that. So an absolute bright spot. I own not knowing.
Harley played 21:56 last night.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Was it still? It was fifth least though. Or
I'm
fifth most
not
of
ranking them
All
right
right.
now, but
Yeah.
I just looked at that. I thought, he played 2 games in the tournament, and they were the 2 biggest pressure cooker events, like
And he seemed unfazed.
totally unfazed.
Yeah.
All right, let's hear from Jordan Binnington on what Cooper may have said to him. Clip 1.
I think just saying he was proud and just enjoying the moment together. There's a lot of noise in this game, and I think that was a moment that we got to share with each other, and I'm just grateful he shared that confidence in me to get the job done, and it's been incredible just seeing him on a day-to-day, and just how he can work a room and just lead a meeting and inspire the guys. It's been awesome.
Cooper's got the secret sauce, man.
I think his level, like how calm he is, generally calm, like that sort of, he's not like this, helps in the big moments. He's not the best at rousing guys or something, but bringing everyone down when everyone's already fired up, I think he does that really well. By the way, Thomas Harley played the third most. Makar, Taves, Harley.
Wow.
Yeah, my bad. I was thinking of Sanheim.
Felt like he played a lot. But no, you got to give the guy a ton of credit. And watch that clip before we came on the show today of him screaming to be selfish and then yells McDavid Marner.
Marner, yeah.
The second they go out there, I guess it probably wouldn't have been a great place to pass from. If you're David, you probably should get selfish there. But, it's just
But
what
you
he
can
says.
see a guy handling the puck
Yeah.
there. You're in the lone. You got time. There's no reason
just
to
rips
get it
it.
off that quick. And he
Okay,
just ding-dang.
speaking of, let's go to Connor McDavid on Canada's game-winning goal.
Yeah, just couldn't believe it, really. Just excited for our group. Honestly, everybody was so dug in. Starts, months and months and months ago with management going out and picking the team, and the coaching staff coming together, and then obviously the players doing what we do. It's been a big production, and it's just sweet to have it all come together.
You want to follow it up with Marner's pass from Connor?
Sure. Let's do it.
Mitchie makes a great play. That's a great play. It's kind of the system, that box and one system. The centerman and the D-man can kind of go. So if they get crossed up, that spot can be open. And Mitchie did a great job of finding it.
Yeah. When you watch it on a replay, and Mitch finds the one area of the ice where he knows he'll get some time to make a play, and the puck obviously goes around the boards.
Oh, nice. We got to hear you.
Right?
Oh, this will be the 15 millionth time I've watched this today.
And I don't know how many guys would have been smart enough to buy himself that much time in that particular area. The tendency is to go to the net or go into the traffic. And the patience that Mitch showed was the reason why he can do things sometimes that other players can't. I thought it was just a brilliant play and a brilliant pass. How did you see the game-winning goal? Because there's a lot of breakdowns on Austin Matthews on that particular play. What did you see?
So I think it all starts with Fox. Fox doesn't, cover the right guy off the face-off, so they're kind of chasing. And then when he gets behind the net, Matthews wouldn't see him through Hellebuck. So in that system, the zone they're kind of playing, someone's got to go to Mitch. So in that point, he's, okay.
But Fox was ahead of Matthews.
But he can't see Fox because he's behind Hellebuck. So he's a step ahead. He's like, he took a step or two, and at that point, Fox should come back in front of the net. I think it looks worse than it is for Matthews, but it's a great play by Marner to take advantage of a step. Fox, by the way, that whole weekend.
Yeah, Fox did not play well, but he's not blessed with speed.
Fox.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's not the biggest guy. And that played a factor in this. And, we talked earlier about Stone, even Reinhart, very smart player, much like Mark Stone, very smart.
Great
But
defensive
you need to, in this game, you need to be smart and fast and quick.
Yeah.
And
physical.
that's the only way you kind of stood out.
You know what's funny is I feel like there was a level here of speed where there isn't in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Like when you're playing a playoff roster, there's some slower guys, whatever. Reinhart, Stone, Ryan O'Reilly, these guys can still maintain their effectiveness by finding these pockets when everyone skates like at that level. I don't know that you can play like I wrote stock up, stock down for a lot of these guys at the Olympics. Like I can't. Brad Marchand, love his career. He's been wonderful. I don't think he skates well enough to skate at that level. And that level's too high.
It's a totally different game IHF too. It's, you know, it just nullifies certain guys, to your point, Kip, like Reinhart.
Yeah.
Not
quite as effective, still really good and smart and physical and great.
Yes.
But can't quite get to where he needs to get.
Kind of missing pace. Something.
Yeah.
If we're rolling that goal again, because maybe I just want to watch it again. But the play that Marner makes that's more impressive to me, even than the pass, is that's a hard rim on the dasher from Cale Makar. And to be able to dig that off that's the hardest play in hockey. You guys both play hockey at a very high level. You know how hard it is to dig a puck off the dasher like that. And for him to do that and then have a guy coming right at you.
In one motion.
One motion, bing, right on the tape, and he shoots it in. It's as good as it gets. Like, that's so hard to do. It's so hard to do.
That is a well-placed shot, too. This is my favorite angle of the shot. His glove's a foot beneath the puck.
Never even close. No. Never even close.
All right, let's we got to hear from Sidney Crosby on perhaps thinking about passing the torch.
This is an interesting clip. Let's play it.
Yeah, I mean, it's, it really is, like you said, a new generation and a new group of guys. I think, with some of those prior teams, there was a lot of guys that had played together in the past. With some new guys sprinkled in there. This was a totally new group for the most part. And just to see guys come together over the last, 10 days and see the excitement, see how much it meant to everybody. It was a lot of fun. And obviously the U.S. was, a pretty good team. They, they pushed and obviously Bennett made some great saves there, but give a lot of credit to them. They were a tough team, just like the other ones, but they really played well.
Hey, how about how no one really knew what to do with, like, the trophy? Everyone's like, are we going to do a Stanley Cup? All of us go out with this thing? Like,
see, I didn't find it that awkward.
No?
No.
I kind of feel like they shouldn't have done that. Like, not that it mattered. I just did find it a bit awkward. Like, guys were like,
well, look at that's real emotion out of Crosby there. Real emotion. He started it, and
he set the tone.
These guys are like,
the only one I kind of questioned a little. Watch Connor.
Yeah,
barely. Hey, you know why?
Because he hasn't won it.
Because it's not the cup.
Yes.
The one he's going to lift over his head.
Yeah.
Is the Stanley Cup.
That's interesting. I didn't catch that.
Yeah, I caught that right away. Right away. So I think the first 9 guys had cups.
Yeah.
So it's like no problem. This is whipped cream and a cherry on top of my sundae.
Yeah, it's like this doesn't.
Connor's missing the ice cream.
One I wanted.
Yeah, he's got just chocolate syrup.
Love that I scored.
Yeah.
Love that we stuck it to the U.S.
But I can't quite.
But it's not the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
That's what I got out of his.
That's so interesting.
And that's how I felt watching them all do it. Like, even guys who had won the cup, it was like, I can't be quite as thrilled as I've been in the past. It's good, but
at the end of the day, it's just, I told you, it's just a trophy. It's just a made up trophy, and
for sure,
that's it. The win is the win.
Exactly.
We still hold.
Yeah, it doesn't.
The title of
who cares about that trophy?
Best country in the world for hockey.
Yeah.
This is just like, but it was. I found it okay, and I think it was overall very well done.
It sounds like viewership through the roof. I think Sportsnet,
almost 7 million people.
Yeah,
6.9 million people watched.
And
that's the number I got.
At the time of the goal, it had like peaked at 7.3 or something.
Yeah,
so it was pretty remarkable number for Canadians. And you consider we got 40 million in the country or whatever the number is.
Can we just talk big picture about this? Gary Bettman's. I'm not allowed to say this on the radio, but you can say anything once. His wettest dream of all time, this is above that. Yeah. Like, he could not. This was the most perfect storm. You get out of this tournament now, and sure, McAvoy's hurt, Kachuk's hurt. There's some injuries.
By the way, from the Leaf angle again, interdivision stars got hurt.
Listen, there's definitely some stuff coming out of this that aren't great, but you come out of it with Matthews healthy, McDavid healthy, like the biggest guys, and you get everything you had, the ratings, the eyeballs. Gary could never have imagined it being this good in a million years, right?
Lightning in a bottle.
All right, you know what? Let's go to break, and then we'll pick up off that conversation, and we got Brad Marchand. Now we're going to talk
Oh my God.
Do we want to hear Brady Tkachuk? too?
We are talking Tkachuks,
The
okay?
new American stars. Those guys are now, if they weren't already, but they're names now.
Tkachuk.
Thank you, Gilbert.
Okay, plenty. Do not go away. We're only warming up here as Canada holds the title. Best hockey country in the world. Back after these words. Nick Kypreos, Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee. We're going to get into that big picture conversation, Sammy. But let's just kind of wrap up on the U.S. side here, including Brad Marchand, who really set them up yesterday. Really.
You hated that clip. You were yelling at me for
I was
saying.
fine with it. I just didn't want to listen to a guy play the karma card, which is a really old kind of
One of the oldest tricks in
Canadian
the book.
tricks in the book.
100%.
Just build them up just to see them fall. And that's exactly what happened, right?
For sure.
And the U.S. got what they deserved last night. They really did. I'm sorry, but
Well said.
they got what they deserved last night. A big L. Okay?
My favorite thing you've ever said on the show.
And while we can sit there and praise Brady Tkachuk and Matthew a little bit, and if I started a team tomorrow, I'd want them both on it.
Oh, yeah.
But Matthew Tkachuk, selfish.
What?
Selfish.
Selfish because he's trying his heart to be out there for the Americans, no?
That's the problem. Okay? Couldn't play.
Yeah.
We knew he couldn't play. He was hurt. He was injured.
Meanwhile, Kyle Connor,
A
fourth,
healthy
sixth best scorer in the
Kyle
league.
Connor sat in the stands while you refused to acknowledge that you couldn't play.
Wow, you're right. You're so right.
Keep her
Hey.
going, baby. Keep her going.
No good. I'm sorry. But you're not that big of a star that you at no percent is better on the bench than Kyle Connor.
Connor sixth in points, sixth in goals in the NHL this year, and I don't know if he had a little tweak or something, but he's by all reports he's healthy.
Can't have that happen, guys.
Yeah,
You can't
that
win.
hurt them last night.
Big time.
Yeah,
Big time. And you should have acknowledged it. You should have said, I'll go out and warm up, but just know he knew he couldn't play. He didn't want to give up his spot.
tough night for Jets fans in general. Connor gets scratched. Morrissey's sick. Hellebuck doesn't get the win to get him over the hump.
I mean, if you're a Jets fan and you watch that first goal go in, you're like, I watched that happen 15 times in the first round. That shit
Floater through traffic
puts his gloves like, I couldn't have saved that
from
one.
Colorado.
Yeah, from McDavid. Like I'm
McKinnon.
yeah.
All right, let's hear from Brady Tkachuk on his
yes,
thoughts.
Let's please. Both the clips. Let's play them.
Honestly, I was convinced we were going to win.
Oh, I bet you were.
Yeah, and just everything happens for a reason. There's a reason why we didn't win tonight.
'Cause you're
Maybe in a
losing.
year's time, it goes the other way.
Like that overtime was crazy. You had some chances. How would you describe that?
I mean, it could have gone either way. Just sucks it didn't go ours.
Sammy's having way too much fun. Sam, do you think they got a lot of respect in the handshake line?
Don't bring
I'm
me
just
back to that. I think he was incredible last night.
Yeah.
Tkachuk.
Yeah. Oh, no. Like I said,
He was impactful.
I love them
everything
both. I
he
do
did.
love them both. Don't get me wrong, but in
you're
that
so right.
particular moment, you cannot be bigger than the team.
You're right. 100%, especially at the national level. Like, it's one thing if it's a Stanley Cup playoff game and you got, like, I don't know,
Trying to play over Nick Cousins or
whoever's coming into the
the
lineup.
13th guy.
But when it's like Kyle Connor who could potentially play, it's a different thing. So if we're going to praise the Americans at all, Jacob Slavin is unbelievable.
yeah, probably the MVP for the Americans.
How many perfectly timed defensive plays did he make last night? The spin around on Sid, the shot block on Seth Jarvis in the slot. He was out of control good last night.
I'll tell you what, too, that Faber,
Oh yeah,
Play.
oh yeah.
what a player,
What a
too.
player.
Yeah.
That guy, when he's out there,
Yeah.
he can slow, even at that pace, he can turn around, look at 2 or 3 options, and have the poise to make the best one. Like that pair, like very, very impressive. But Slavin, like, how about him at 6.3 for the next
Till
4
2030.
years.
Till 2030.
5 years. They're stealing him
I mean,
in Carolina.
if you gave him another $1.2 million, you could get Morgan Riley.
That guy's a $10 million defenseman.
No question.
Sure he is. Absolutely he is. In terms of impact, the problem, and this is where we're talking about how, or I said like analytics can help us find these guys. There's no stats his agent can take to the team and be like, look at the shot suppression. Yeah. And they're like, that's not a stat.
The slot pass denials. Look at this.
Right. That doesn't get you $10 million, but it should.
It should.
It's coming, though. Those
Yeah, it's
stats
coming.
are coming. There'll be a nerd somewhere to count them.
He's
Slavin's
ruined.
going to watch people play just like him and make $40 million a year.
Yeah. When did he sign that contract, boys? Was it an
Not
8
long
year?
ago.
Was it an 8-year one or 6-year? I can't remember. Anyways.
I think it's 4-year, 5-year.
No, he was really, really impressive. So that's the end of my praise for them, I guess. But what are you going to?
No, just anywhere else you want to go? Or Sammy mentioned...
You said big picture.
Big picture. Yeah. I don't know. You mentioned Gary Bettman and how excited he must be. The only thing probably, are we going to nitpick a little bit?
That's up to you, pal.
I don't know. I mean, the game should have been played on Wednesday, not Thursday. But it's tough. The guys are turning around. They're traveling today. They got to play some of them by 1 p.m. It's just to go over the.
I don't think that's a nitpick. I think that's totally fair.
If we're talking about like how do we move this forward without having guys really put their respective clubs for the rest of the season in jeopardy? Like, we kind of had this conversation the other day, but like, is there a possibility of better protecting these guys moving forward? So we have the intensity, we have the passion, but we're not crazy here. We're not putting these guys in a position to get hurt or moving forward, find themselves not focused or attentive to playing a game.
Yeah, but what's hard is hockey, like all of this stuff, is an entertainment product, right? You're trying to get people interested. You want them to watch. You want to sell tickets and get ratings. That's the best thing we can possibly offer. And you don't want to take that away. And so if it comes at the cost of other things, most hockey fans in the world, not you, me, Sam, guys who watch every little detail maybe, most hockey fans would say, I don't care what you have to change to keep that. That's the thing I want to keep. That's the crown jewel.
But the people that sometimes make the decision have never really, truly know or experienced like how hard it is, or the demand, or the pressure, or the this, or the that.
Oh, just to go home on the pressure, McDavid scores that OT winner last night. He didn't play very well.
No.
How about the relief that he gets to breathe? Because otherwise, his reputation takes a hit nationally about big game guy, didn't score in game 7, the cup, didn't score, like all of a sudden he gets that relief because the pressure's so strong. So you're right. It's heavy on these guys.
And it bothers me that you move a game that should have been on a Wednesday to a Thursday because ESPN won't move a basketball game.
Yeah, is that it?
It's like,
you
sorry, but the game's
dominated
Wednesday.
a basketball game last night. Yeah.
I mean, it was Lakers Hornets. I mean, it's tough to deny.
Really? Yeah.
I'm joking.
No, whatever it was.
LeBron had an unbelievable dunk in that game.
I guarantee you, it was not a signature game.
It was not.
No.
It was not. It was absolutely not.
And that's how do you do it? Again, Connor McDavid's going to play another 10 years, and he's going to have to every other year do that.
What?
It's a lot. No, like I'm all for this, but I don't think with this one, when you're going to the Olympics, I think you kind of know the pressure and what it's going to entail. But I think all these guys knew they were going to play hard, but I don't think they I'm tired from this.
I am emotionally tired from this.
You're tired. Like, imagine what Connor McDavid feels like right now. He's flying on a place like, I'm going to Philly.
Well, and I got to ask, what do you think their blood alcohol levels got to last night? Like a number.
North.
And,
it'll still be lower than what theirs are during an All-Star weekend.
Touche.
Great point.
No,
Good
you're right
point.
about that. But
Good point.
still, like those guys, of course, had to celebrate that. They're never together in a moment like that.
Yeah. What time do they get to sleep? 4?
Yeah,
5,
probably.
5 a.m.?
Yeah.
And puck drop for some of those guys would have been 30 hours later.
Yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, next year, are they not doing an NHL All-Star weekend?
I don't think so. I think it's the same with the Olympics, right?
Oh, it's the Olympics next year, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so when do they have?
They're doing both? Yeah, I think they are.
They are doing both.
You're right.
Because if you don't, you can't have it in 2 years. You're doing another one of these World Cups.
Yeah.
So, like, you're doing an All-Star weekend, and then you're going to put them on a plane from New York.
Surely the guys in the
to
Olympics
Italy.
aren't in the All-Star game too, are they?
But they're the same guys.
It's Long Island.
They're
Yeah,
all,
it's
they're
in Long
all,
Island.
They're all the same guys.
2026.
So imagine
February.
now an
there.
All-Star weekend, and then jumping on a plane to go play in Italy for the Olympic gold.
Does anyone know what these guys got paid for winning?
They're gonna, the championship team will probably, I don't know, 100 grand, I don't know, 50 grand, 100 grand,
like $1 million for the team,
maybe,
split or
yeah,
something.
yeah, something, but still not enough for.
Changes any of their
It's still
lives.
not enough in my eyes.
No.
Derek, what number did you buzz in my ear there again? Yeah. Apparently it was 9.3 million people watched it in the States on ESPN.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
So you're looking at 16 million people
Yeah.
in North America or something.
it's a good number,
Oh, yeah, I'd say.
And listen, I mean, we could sit here and pound our chest here on Canada's side, but like still in good shape that Olympic program and the USA hockey and where things are heading and the growth of hockey down in the States. It's the needle's moving.
Oh, yeah. We're always going to be in hot competition with them for the rest of time now. Like, I'm not, just because they're going up doesn't mean we're going down. It just means we're going to be in dogfights every competition.
Yeah. And much like your Bet365 line,
Minus 110,
it's-
minus
it's-
110.
it's
Get
gonna-
used
it's
to it,
gonna
brother.
be split right down the middle. Pick 'em.
I will say that it's just, it's nice that we have a little head start on them in the finals,
Yeah.
4-1 in the big final, or 5-1 or 4-1 in the big finals. Like, it's nice that we have those
Did
head
you
start.
guys see the image I tweeted out before the game of Clark Gillies?
I did.
Laying on the American goaltender after
I did.
scoring a goal. Like, literally just like leaning right on top of the guy. Just, like squashed as Canada scores a goal. Really a great image.
I think that those jerseys, they should, for the Olympics in 2026, they should do something like that, like a throwback to that.
All white with the red.
With the red, or like maybe do a newer version of it somehow. I don't know what you'd do.
Check out my feed. It's on next summer at JT Bourne.
The reaction to Charlie McAvoy reading the starting lineup and not being able to play.
Yeah.
So it's
was
easily
emotional.
it's easy to understand why the guy would take a needle to try to play.
Oh, God. What talk about passion.
Yeah, guy cares.
The guy cares. And how about the chance for Johnny Hockey in Boston? That was really special. And full credit to the crowd there, too. One of the best crowds in memory where Canada scores to open up the game and you're waiting for everyone to fall quiet. USA chants right away. Like, they didn't go away, that crowd. They were there the whole game.
Yeah.
That was a great atmosphere.
Do you guys want to sneak in? I did do the Canada line today.
Yeah, sneak
we'll,
a couple
we'll,
in.
We'll do some in the national hour as well. But
Sneak one in right now.
all right, let's go, Derek. Let's go to Bernie from Sudbury. Maybe not.
I was thinking about your roller coaster ride last night each time Canada and the U.S. scored in regulation. When Canada scored in OT, I thought of your explosion of your relief. I hope you slept well. And yes, Marner did come through with a really too big assist. And to you, Kyper, I hope you put down a bundle on your 3-2 prediction. Excellent show, boys. Thank you. Have a good day.
I wouldn't say I got as much sleep as I would like.
So where did you watch?
I went downtown to an establishment.
And how was it? Like
it was an electric crowd. Everyone was fired up, and I was with some of my best buds in the world, and
Were you able to enjoy the game? Not joking when I say that. Like,
no,
no,
not zero enjoyment the entire time until that puck entered the net.
but it had a real Olympic.
There's a real
feel.
buzz. There was a real buzz, and it wasn't just me that had the real buzz. It was really good, and just having that moment around a bunch of Canadians, and listen, Canada's taking a beating here for a little while. It hasn't been like roses for a while, and we all know the political climate, everything around it. But just to have that unifying moment with all your friends and that goal goes in, I grab my buddy Dave, one of my best buddies. I'm just like, I love you, man. Like, we just hugged. We hugged. I couldn't stop hugging everybody. It's just, there's nothing like it.
On Young Street or like?
There's a few people out in the streets, a couple things. It wasn't like it was 2010 or anything,
That's
but
okay.
I saw a few people, a couple high fives here and there, and I did make a business decision. I was like, these guys are going on to a further establishment. I'm like, I'm going to go home. And then I got home, and I turned on the TV, and Kenny Reed and Ivanka and Luke Adams. I'm like, well, guess I'm going to crack another beer here, and just sat down and watched another hour of just the coverage of everybody talking. It's just, you're watching everything on your there's just nothing like it. There's just nothing like it. It's truly nothing like it.
Did I see a picture on Twitter of you with a dart in your mouth?
No, it wasn't on Twitter. I sent it to you guys personally.
Oh.
But yeah.
I'd say Sam literally doesn't
I don't want you
smoke.
smoking. I don't want you smoking.
I don't smoke.
All right. I don't want you to pretend you're smoking.
Listen, my parents.
It's not good for you.
I know my parents are listening to the show, so sorry, parents, but I do like to have a celebratory dart.
No,
and
Purely celebratory.
You're not allowed.
Me and one of my best buddies, Phil, we went out and we hacked one. We watched the highlights. We talked about how great Canada is. You know what the main conversation we had is that we're both diehard Leaf fans. We're both diehard Jays fans. The Raptors gave us some. All my teams generally don't come through for me. I had the Raptors.
That's the sporting experience.
The Jays, when I was a kid came through, but that was nothing.
Yeah.
That for me at that point, I was a little twerp at that point. But having Canada always comes through.
So
we always come through at the highest level.
Will this make up for Vladdy and Mitch Marner leaving?
Oh my God. Yeah. It depends if Vlad went to the Yankees because he's liking
Depends
photos
how the
of
extra
that.
money's spent, I think.
Let's go to, this is a great call to set up our next guest. Let's go to Don in Kitchener.
I just got a problem with this Doug MacLean guy, Listen, if he wants to go swimming, pickleball, socialize, whatever, he can do that Saturday, Thursday. He is supposed to be on your show every Friday, and we expect him to be there. If this is a problem with him, I know a guy. Take care, guys. Great show.
Donnie nailed it.
Author and scholar Doug MacLean.
We have offers of enforcement from, that's great. We could use it trying to get a...
We will let
leash on
him
that
know
guy.
in a few minutes when we come back at the top of the hour. Doug MacLean will join us and give his thoughts on Don's comments first before even Team Canada.
I know we got to go here quickly, but the guys that play on this team that are a lock for Sochi. That's a Labatt Blue brain
deep
there.
recesses.
For Milan. So if I read these names off to you, and then you can answer yes or no.
How about I give you the nose?
Well, how about is Bennett a lock?
He doesn't lock, but he
Bennett.
certainly raised his
Lock.
stock.
A lock.
McKinnon, McDavid, Marner, lock.
Locks.
Harley, McCarr, Reinhart,
Like Reinhardt's not a lock.
Reinhardt's not a lock for me.
Doughty,
Not a lock, but
No.
likely.
Hagel, Sorelli, Jarvis,
Not locks.
Raleigh, Jarvis.
Not
is,
locks.
but Hagel, lock.
Sid, Marchand.
Sid's not a lock.
Oh my!
No, you don't know. In 2 years, he's almost
it's this-
40.
it's next year.
Okay, 39. Yeah, you're right. Next
in.
year.
Lock.
Yeah. Sorry.
Marchand,
It'd be
Parayko.
hard. He'd have to really go
Yeah.
down.
Marchand, Parayko.
Marchand
Not
is
locks.
Not on.
San,
lock.
Sanheim, Taves, lock. Point, lock. And then I don't know about Stone.
That calendar year screws me up.
I know. Things
World
are weird.
Cup's 2 years.
I know.
Olympics next
I
year.
know.
I can't keep track.
You don't have to. Sam will.
Okay. It's Off the Rails Friday. Doug MacLean at the top of the hour. You're not going to want to miss it. Also, Kevin Zegers, Canadian actor, will join us to tee up an LA Strong charity event that we'll talk to as well. Don't go away on the Real Kyper and Bourne Show. Welcome into the National Hour of the Real Kyper and Bourne Show. We are live on Sportsnet 650 in Vancouver, Sportsnet 960 in Calgary. This hour of Real Kyper and Bourne brought to you by Bet365. Nick Kypreos, Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee. On a night where Sammy exhaled with a great Canadian win.
Oh, I thought you were going to say a great Canadian dart.
You had one of those, apparently.
Yeah. Yes. For our national audience, I'm so thankful every day to come on here and talk to you. And usually I'm making fun of you, and I'm making fun of Vancouver and Ottawa and Edmonton. Not today. I love you all.
Today.
I love you all. And I want to give a special shout out to the province of Nova Scotia, who are big time hockey fans. We always get our Leaf line and our hockey line, people calling in from there. They have provided us with 3 of our nation's finest exports. Sidney Crosby, Brad Marchand, and Connor McKinnon. Pretty good. Nathan McKinnon, pretty good. So, anyways.
Well, we got a lot of our thoughts in the earlier hour of our program. So this is where on a Friday we drive it right into the ditch. And let's start by inviting a regular here on Fridays. Let's go to Doug MacLean, former NHL president, GM, head coach, and Canadian fan as well with draft day. Hey, did anybody tell you that there was a big game last night?
Oh, sorry, guys. I was just, I can't put this book down. I just, sorry. I didn't know I was on the air.
How are you? Now, the Dow Jones tumbled, I think, 700 points today on the news of the loss in the U.S. to Canada. Bad news for your portfolio, but good news for Canadians and people that hold passports, including you.
As I said to my buddies at the golf course this morning when we teed off, I said, you Americans are quite quiet about hockey. You don't want to discuss any hockey today. Like it was, but I've never seen it come alive so much as, in the since this tournament started, the number of people asking me hockey questions at the pool, at the beach, at pickleball, at golf. I mean, it was never ending. So it was like I was feeling the pressure to win last night, and thank God Cooper and the guys on the bench, they woke up, they made some adjustments, they juggled some lines. I thought they did a hell of a job. I really did. I thought they were absolutely terrific. And so much for the New York Times article on the goalie crisis in Canada right now. So much for that article. The New York Times may have missed it on that one.
So, with the 4 nations behind us and, all the political, extra juice that was around this whole event, how do you feel about, what a lot of people initially kind of looked at as a, makeshift tournament and what it became?
Look, I go back to the first game against Sweden and the overtime, and, was I excited about the tournament? No, I wasn't. Was I excited about seeing Sweden and Finland play Canada and the U.S.? No, not really. I really wasn't. I had a hard time getting pumped up for it. Then I watched the overtime of the Sweden-Canada game, and it was unbelievable. And then the U.S. game, the first game, was a battle. It was so bizarre, the fighting, and it was so weird. That used to happen to me in the American Hockey League in Baltimore, where you're duking it out at, the first shift of a game. And then to watch last night, it was good. It was great. I was sour at McDavid after 2 periods. I was ticked off at him, and then I sent a note to somebody, is Sid old, or is he just hurt, or is he hurt, or what's going on? And then I watched Bennett go through people. I watched Binnington just, seriously, I thought he would be the problem with the team, and he was the reason they won for a big part. So, you know what? It was special to watch. I love beating the Russians in the old days, but man, I love beating the Americans. My kids are American, and I love beating them. In hockey. I
love beating my kids. Doug MacLean, you heard it here first.
That's a bad line. That is a bad line. By the way, who's the clown that said he's going to come looking for me? Like, who's this guy? Like, seriously.
That's Don in Kitchener.
Yeah. I've been to Kitchener. Not that many tough guys.
All right, take it easy. Take it easy. Now, if you compare the way the Americans came out Saturday night and pushed so hard in their victory, and what you saw last night, was it hard for them to capture Saturday night into a Thursday night game back to back essentially, because I didn't see the same energy, and I felt there was a drop off, and maybe it's because Matthew Tkachuk was never healthy enough to play to begin with, but they didn't come out with that same juice on home soil in Boston like they did in Montreal.
I didn't think it was close. I really didn't, and I felt good from 5-7 minutes into the game that Canada. I had predicted 3-2. I heard you did as well, but on the GM scouting course the other night, it's on tape if you want to check it out.
We believe you.
I did predict 3-2 win. Mike Oak sent me a note last night congratulating me on the prediction. Mike's works with Peter. He's the Peterborough general manager, and he did, in fact, remember my prediction. Not that it's a big deal. I don't care if I was right or not. But I didn't think the U.S. were there last night. I really didn't. And you know what? They talked too much. They talked too much between games. Canada was quiet. Canada went about their business. And some of the Americans talked too much and got a little cocky. And, I'm listening to Roenick the other night. And look, I like Jeremy Roenick as a player, but him and Peel on there saying, oh, this is Canada's going to lose their superiority in hockey and I mean, it was the game of the century. I guess it was for some people. But look, I didn't feel they were going to lose last night. I didn't.
I said this in the earlier hour, Mac. It doesn't help that Matthew Tkachuk was never healthy to play. He plays, I don't know, half a game barely. And you got Kyle Connor sitting in the stands completely healthy. I think that was a very bad mistake by the U.S. team.
Two of the best players in the NHL this year, Kyle Connor and Scheifele, and neither one of them played last night. But Connor's on the team, Kyle Connor. I mean, have you watched him this year? This guy has been unbelievable for the Winnipeg Jets, and he couldn't help that team last night. I'm saying Cooper, Cassidy, and Tocchet. I don't know who the goalie coach is, but those guys did a heck of a job with this hockey team. They really did. I love their line juggling. I love the slight adjustments. I love the Marner change late. I liked a lot of things they did, and it was impressive and good on them.
Doug, I thought you gave us some really good answers on the political stuff last Friday. I'm going to ask you another sort of sensitive question here for Canadians. But we had two good Canadians kind of take a public flogging recently. PK Subban tweeted something about, Trump being the Trizzy train is coming to Canada with the annexation threats. And then, I'll say it, Wayne Gretzky's taken a bit of a hard time, having been seen in the Oval Office with Donald Trump. Comes out, for that game out of the American bench, and a lot of people maybe are colder to him knowing those affiliations and how things are going. Are Canadians overreacting, or is it a sense? What are your thoughts on what's happening with the sensitivity right now?
I live in, I've lived in the States for 35 years, and my kids are American. We've grown up here, and we're Canadians. I haven't liked the commentary about enough already of the 51st state. Enough of that. As I said, negotiate all you want, negotiate tariffs, negotiate like crazy, but enough of the shots. And even yesterday in his talk to the U.S. team, I think it hurt them. And nobody wants to hear that. With respect to Wayne and PK, look, you live in the U.S., you're involved in the election, you watch the election, you meet people who are involved with parties, political parties. Is it an overreaction? I hate to see Wayne Gretzky take heat over that. I didn't know about the PK. I saw a little bit on it. I see Guerin getting heat today about involving Trump. I mean, look, I don't like it. I really don't. I happen to know Wayne pretty well, mostly through coaching him in the All-Star game a couple times and through Nick. I feel for him. Same thing happened to Bobby Orr a number of years ago, and these are legends, of the game. And I don't know how Wayne got involved, but I don't know. I don't like it. I don't. I think it's over. I think it's way overhyped.
The other thing too is, once again, like, this tournament's over, and we've got many Americans that need to come back and play in Canada. And Austin Matthews, Brady Tkachuk is the captain of the Ottawa Senators. Like, would Ottawa ownership or management feel a little nervous right now for these guys coming home? Or
there's so much sensitivity between Canada and the U.S. and the way Canada has become galvanized by this tariff situation and by the Trump situation. I like to see it. I had a half-hour conversation with a buddy of mine in PEI today about the same thing. Canada's become galvanized, but you know what? Has there been tariffs yet? Are they even there yet? Are they really going to come? Let's wait and see where this is in a few months before we throw Wayne Gretzky and PK and all these people under the bus. Let's wait and see what really transpires, because I think a lot of it is a bunch of BS by the president.
You're watching and listening to Doug MacLean, former NHL president, GM, and head coach. So what does this tournament do for many players moving forward?
By the way, I you haven't even brought up about the new putter I bought. The Bennett putter I got called the Antidote is what it's called. The Antidote Bennett putter. Oh my God, has it changed my game now? You will not believe my putting.
Oh my God, does it cost what it says online?
You got it for free.
I made $19 today playing golf, mostly because of my putter.
Is it official now? You get it for free for mentioning it?
No, I paid for the damn thing. And you know what? As I said to my boys today after I sunk a birdie putt, I said, boys, if I pay $1,000 for the putter, I'd still be happy today. So.
With your $19 discount. Let me ask you about this tournament, Mac, with the perception.
Kuchar and Couples use the Antidote putter. I just wanted you to know that.
But I'm ready to give you an antidote right now. That would end this segment.
Somebody said to me, I need one called the lobotomy.
What does this tournament do for some individuals in particular? And the perception from Mitch Marner to Jordan Binnington. And I'm looking at Jordan Binnington, Mac, and I'm wondering that if the St. Louis Blues are talking about maybe a major change and maybe a rebuild in the next few years, if you'd want to unload this guy, would there be a world where Connor McDavid would go back to the Edmonton Oilers and say, hey, listen, we like Skinner and all, but like, how about we get this guy?
I tell you what, I was a basket case over Bennington in this tournament. I really was. And look, I mean, did he prove me wrong? Big time. He was so good, so focused. The guy left the series he was perceived as a big game goalie in St. Louis a number of years ago. It sort of drifted away a little bit. He leaves this tournament being perceived as a big time stopper. He really does, in my mind. He's the one guy that leaves this tournament as the guy for me. The guy. They don't win if he doesn't play the way he played and the way he was focused and how calm and cool he was between the pipes. I was really impressed with him. Marner. Everybody whines about Marner as a big-time player, big game player. I watched 2 big games where he was the difference maker. Big-time plays, big-time smart plays. Matthews makes me a little nervous. I didn't like his tournament. People, I guess he had some assists. I didn't like his tournament that well. I'm nervous about him, and I'm still nervous as to what he is going to become and what steps he still has to take to be the guy, to be a big-time producer. I mean, the goal last night, unfortunate. Obviously, he was part of it. The goal against by McDavid. But Marner comes out of it looking good. Tough signing now. Big-time game player in both those big wins.
So if you're the management of the Leafs now, would you be looking?
Oh yeah, you always have to complicate it with saying I'm not management. I'm a TV star.
How?
I'm a TV radio star.
How?
And I'm a best-selling author. By the way, I've got a major corporation call me about doing some work for them, and guess what came up on the conference call today?
They wanted to know how much they could get me for.
The Real Kyper show came up, how they love listening to me on the real. So, you know what? I feel really good. I finally have gotten something out of doing this show.
I would love for you to turn a profit on us
guys.
eventually. That would be very gratifying for all of us here who feel slightly guilty. You don't as is. I was just going to ask, how big a fish do they need here, Doug? Should the management be going, boy, Marner and Matthews, good final games here. We know Willie's had moments. They're really close. You know, what's changed for management as they head towards the deadline in 2 weeks?
Did you think that they were that good other than Marner?
I didn't think Marner was
they
that
were
good.
pretty. What? No, except he made big plays at key times.
He was great in the final game.
He did that. He got demoted. I understand that, but they were smart enough to put him back in a critical situation.
Yeah,
and he came through on a couple of occasions. I'd be nervous. I'd be nervous about because there's so much pressure. Look, it's not the same as every other place, guys. There's so much pressure on these three guys at playoff time. It's going to be over the top. They're big-time players. They're stars. I just hope they come through, and they need to come through this year in the playoffs. No more talk. They've got to come through.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I want to go back to Binnington because I kind of led you, but you didn't really answer the question. With the situation that St. Louis is in, right, moving forward, and I think he's got 2 more years left at $6 million. Are there teams out there that would look at him that might be questionable in net that they go, yeah, let's trade for this guy?
Yeah,
I think there should be. After what he did, the pressure, guys, I kept thinking during the games, the pressure this guy was under. Nobody, Sid, McDavid, none of them were under the pressure that this guy was under, and big time talent against him, and he came through. I mean, the way they crashed the net at times, the Americans, and he stood tall in there. I thought he was so composed, so solid. I thought he set the tone for the team from his play around the net, his composure. I really did. I think he's a guy,
He's got 3 more years left at $6 million.
Well, just 2 after this.
2 after this.
Yeah.
Would you try to flip Skinner to St. Louis in a package? Would you do that upgrade if you're the Edmonton Oilers in that?
Without a doubt.
Can what about Parayko? Is he available? I
love Parayko.
I
By
do
the
too.
way, I love Parayko in this. Not only that he beat the snot out of somebody, but he also played really well. And lugged the puck. And I don't see him very much, so it sort of jumped out at me the way he performed. I mean, also the kid from Dallas was real good, Haley. I mean, there was a lot of people, took big steps in this series for Canada.
We
just talked about Slavin.
Yep.
He was absolutely terrific. So anyway, look, it was fun. Bennett, I love Bennett. Like Nick, I tell more people this. Nick said 3 or 4 years ago, the Leafs have got to go after Bennett. He's available. He's in Calgary. The Leafs have got to get him. And
people laughed at me.
Did you lose your job at Sportsnet over that? Or was something else you did?
It felt like it.
Oh my God! Did they go after Nick? They just carved him.
Yeah, Bennett's no good.
It was Robertson for Bennett, was what you said. I remember because I remember being mad at you for it.
Yes. Yeah.
Mac.
Yes. Well, Sammy would like Robertson. Like seriously, Sammy would like him.
Florida's in.
He smokes the odd dart. No, I don't know if he does. Sammy, that disappointed me so much in you about you smoking darts.
Well, Doug, my mom already texted me, so it's not just you that's pissed off.
Hey, bottle of wine, I'm fine with. Darts, no.
Mac, Florida's in a pickle here with this guy. To sign him or let him go for free or trade him. Like, what do you do if you're Florida?
What's the pickle?
Tell me,
pay him.
Tell me what he's worth, Mac. You tell me what he's worth after watching him here.
What's he making?
I don't know,
5?
I don't even think he's at 5.
He is currently making 4.425.
Guys,
is he double?
Oh, easily.
Like what I watched of him, like, did he not set the tone umpteen shifts last night? Did that line not really contribute to the win and keeping the American team off guard? He was a beast last night. He was the same as he played for Florida last year in the playoffs. This was what was he, a 3rd overall pick in the draft? And he's become a beast. I love him. And I said it a month ago when we were talking about Florida. I said, this is part of the problem with the Panthers. This guy's not signed.
Mm-hmm.
And, it'll be interesting to see. But, imagine Toronto with him. Imagine Winnipeg with him. He can be a game changer for teams because he energizes everybody in the room with the way he plays. He fought Brady Tkachuk the other night. I love him. I don't even know him as a kid, and I have so much respect for this guy as a player. It's unbelievable.
One more for me,
Every
Mac.
shift last night.
One more for me, and I don't want you to cut me off with "by the way." Okay. This tournament, we're going to look past. They're going to break it down. There's going to be a ton of meetings between the NHL, the Players Association, and I'm sure some ownership's going to be involved in it. But we saw Charlie McAvoy disappear now for the next little while for the Boston Bruins. We saw Matthew Tkachuk playing injured and will probably be lost for the next little while. What type of conversations are teams having moving forward here? Can they do this every other year with NHL rules where there's fighting and this type of passion and emotion to win at all costs and still feel like you can protect the business of the NHL?
I think it's ludicrous. I think it's crazy. As much as I love watching the hockey, as much as I loved it, when I see McAvoy out, and the Bruins could very, very well miss the playoffs just because of that. Just because of that, they could miss the playoffs. And how many other guys are banged up? How many other guys are banged up?
Yeah, we'll find out.
And are critical guys for their teams getting in the playoffs. I liked it. I love the hockey. I think it's ludicrous to do it. I really do.
All right, we'll leave you on that.
I'm selfish. As a fan, I'm selfish. But I would be scared to death if I was a general manager.
Not even as a fan are you selfish. You're just selfish.
You must be a star when hockey's a big deal down there. You must be. You're it, baby.
I've been pretty cocky around the pool. I backed off after the loss. I backed off a little after the loss, but I'm basically the big man on campus around here today.
Yeah,
I really am.
Love it.
It reminded me of my days at Western.
My God. All right, Mac. We'll put you away till next Friday.
Hey, thanks a lot for having me on. Sammy, good luck finding me next Friday. You thought I was tough to find today? Good luck next Friday.
I was stressing, buddy.
Stressing.
God.
A tough night last night and stressed because we couldn't find you on the golf course. Doug MacLean,
Thanks
everybody.
for having me, guys. I really appreciate the opportunity.
He is supposed to be on your show every Friday, and we expect him to be there.
That's Don in Kitchener.
I'm looking up these Bettinardi putters. Woo, buddy.
We've gone from a huge Canadian win right into a trade deadline here. We are now officially back on the clock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's legitimately 2 weeks from today.
It's crazy. Like, it feels, when you come into the All-Star break, it feels like there is a bit of a, because
This is late finish.
no, just in terms of right back into action, right? Where you're just like immediately, it feels like there's a bit of a break. There's a bit of a breath for everybody. But you go from what we watched last night to Leafs back-to-back, Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday night in Boston against the Bruins.
Yeah, 3 and 4 out of the gates.
I'm interested to see who plays and who doesn't.
I bet you 34 doesn't.
I bet you he does.
Yeah. I mean, I hope you're right.
Game time?
Sure.
All right. It's game time presented by Bet365. Visit the app for latest odds and find out why it's ever ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. So, like I said, may or may not have done the happiness hedge last night.
Oh, okay. Down a couple bucks.
Do not care.
Happy to be it.
That is why you do it.
Yep.
Going into that game, I mean, it wouldn't have helped if Brady Tkachuk could have shot that in the net. The money I would have it just would have been a nice little cookie for you. But
Buy
if you
yourself some Kleenex.
Yeah, buy yourself
So,
little retail therapy.
Is like $1 good enough for your conscience?
No.
No.
$2, $5, $10?
I don't.
What do you have? Like, how much do you got to lay down before you feel good about a loss?
Kipper, I don't feel comfortable telling anybody in the audience how much I bet, but it was more than $5. Let's look at the lines for tomorrow night. The Edmonton Oilers, tomorrow afternoon at 1 p.m., are minus 200 favorites against the Philadelphia Flyers, plus 165.
See, and that's...
Can I bet McDavid to have 0 goals?
And now he's on national television, so it's an big American market game, I'm sure, right? Gets to show off the best player, the overtime goal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go get him, Connor. Right back at her.
Well, it is great. At least we get to show this one, right? The NHL has the rights to this one. We can promote what happened in this event. That's friendly. But yeah, Connor's probably, that's a get through it game. I'll put my gear on. I'll be on the ice. If one comes to me, I'll shoot it in. But
the Maple Leafs are home for the Carolina Hurricanes. Interesting number here for me. Carolina is minus 120 favorites at home. The Leafs are plus 100, so a slight underdog on home ice. Rare for the Leafs.
This is in Toronto?
It's in Toronto, yeah. It's rare for the Leafs to be underdogs on home ice against many teams, and to me, that is a Four Nations face-off hangover line, if I've ever seen one. Where
so
these guys,
from Carolina, who would have been in the event?
Rantanen,
Jarvis,
Sebastian Aho.
Yeah.
So a couple of them out early, but
Seth Jarvis.
Yep.
And the
quick Jarvis talk.
Yeah.
Got better. Got better.
He's a great hockey player.
Started to matter a little bit in that game for the first
time. Still 5'10".
He sure is.
Yeah. He just would have Scheifele going in. That was my only thought.
He just looked overwhelmed by it all, but eventually started getting more. Eventually started getting more touches. But even the one where he shoots and Slavin blocks it, it's not a great play.
No,
he's got more time than that to make a play.
And the last game I'll bring up is the Vancouver Canucks with the newly minted Kevin Lankinen in net, probably.
Oh yeah, we got to.
Yeah, they are plus 135 underdogs in Vegas, taking on the Golden Knights, who are minus 160 on the other side of the money line. That was Game Time, presented by Bet365. Visit the app for latest odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Please play responsibly.
Does the Lankinen contract give you a clue about what Stolarz could ask for?
We will take a break, and we'll answer that.
Okay.
After the break.
I look forward to that.
We talking NHL?
Yeah, we are.
What the?
We'll talk a little. Yeah.
It's time for this.
Canadian actor Kevin Zegers will also join us as they got this terrific charity event going on in LA, and we'll add to that in terms of the awareness to support the fire recovery efforts out in California. That and more when we return to Real Kyper and Bourne. Nick Kypreos, Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee, rounding out the week, and what a week it's been.
Tired.
We're almost home.
Emotional.
We are almost home. All right. Let's go to our next guest, Woodstock, Ontario's very own Canadian actor, Kevin Zegers. Now, Kevin, my daughter knows you from those Airbuds, and what else have you done? Now the latest one is the Madison.
It's Taylor Sheridan's new show.
Oh, that guy's the hottest thing out there, isn't he?
That's why I signed up. Yeah.
Okay, I know you as a guy every once in a while that will text me and go, "What the hell's wrong with the Leaf power play?" That's where I really get to know you as well. But thanks for joining us. We're gonna get into what's going on this weekend in LA and in your efforts to help in the fire recovery in California. And big stars are going to get together, including yourself. But we got to get into last night. And you, of course, being Canadian, and what last night meant to you and maybe some of your Hollywood friends, particularly the Canadian ones last night.
Yeah, I only really associate with Canadians out here, so I don't. I did take my 9-year-old to a sports bar, and we both wore our Canadian jerseys, and they thought I was playing unfairly because they're like, you're coming into enemy territory with a kid, which is sort of unfair. We can't harass you the way we'd like to, but it was. I mean, what a game! What a game! I mean, what a tournament! I was saying to my wife, like, with nothing going on, it was such a good, demonstration of like what hockey is. And I was just so grateful. I mean, obviously I'm glad we won, but I live here. I haven't lived in Canada for like 20 years, and it's just everywhere here. People are talking about hockey. I was in this sports bar, which is kind of a basketball bar, and it's like, it's people talking about it. And for me, just as a hockey fan, like, the quality was so good. The, defensive play, like guys blocking shots. Like, to me, that's what I love about hockey. And I'm glad it wasn't just like a freewheeling dunk contest, which is, I think, what everyone thought it was going to be. So, I mean, I couldn't obviously be any happier. But my kid, funny enough, Kyper was saying to me last night, she's like, who is Nick K on your phone? He's like, you text him all the time. Every time I look at your phone, you're texting him about the Leafs and about Matthews and what's going on with the defense. And blah, blah. So yes, I made her aware of. Was showing her pictures of your playing days.
Oh,
she
no.
said you
I'm at the bottom of the pile most of the time, unfortunately.
So when you're out there and everyone's talking about hockey, which is obviously uncommon, I think sometimes I imagine the level of the discussion is probably not where you're at, someone who watches all the time. Is it hard not to gatekeep and judge? Are you trying to welcome in the new hockey fans to our sport?
For sure. And I will give LA credit. I go to a lot of Kings games, and like, maybe because the team was really good for a while, and they're still pretty good, but they're fairly educated. There's a lot of Canadians here too, so I wonder if it's that. But I'm certainly like a judgmental Canadian. But for the most part, like, people who are interested in hockey here sort of know the game. I've gone to games in other places where it's like they're cheering 1-on-2s, and you're sort of having to nudge them and let them know nothing's going to happen. But no, listen, the more people that Kyper can attest to this, like, I love hockey. I watch the show I'm on right now. I watch every single day in my trailer. I do my like hour. It's usually sometimes 2 hours if I do the national hour, but I watch my 2 hours. I listen to Sammy piss and moan about the Leafs. When's the curse over? And why can't, he's sweating. I was actually all night last night thinking, I feel like I know Sammy, but going like, I'm just great. I'm grateful for people like Sammy that we won last.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Needed that.
No, I sincerely mean that. I feared for your well-being if that Matthews shot had gone in on the toe side, which it normally does. So I'm glad it didn't.
You know what? Rightfully so. You should have been fearing for me.
Well, we are thankful you're well representing us out in California as a Canadian. So that brings us to what's going on this weekend. Our mutual friend Luc Robitaille is doing whatever he can from the LA Kings side. Tell us a little bit about this event, Skate for LA Strong, that will include Danny DeVito, Will Ferrell, Vince Vaughn, man.
Hold on, is Danny DeVito skating?
Really good.
No.
Really some big names here. Tell us about it.
I don't want to make any Danny DeVito jokes, but no, he's not. He's coaching, actually. I think Biebs just signed on. He's going to skate too. So it's great. They sort of came to me pretty early on. They wanted to find a way to sort of celebrate the first responders and a lot of the people who've lost homes and everything like that. And they've done the fundraisers. And so really what this is we're kind of, they're not selling any tickets. So everyone at the game, I think that's 16 or 17,000 people, will be either people who lost their homes or first responders. There's a lot of firemen and police officers and paramedics who were there. So it's kind of just a night to, enjoy ourselves and play the game we love and raise some money. Obviously, we have good sponsors and everything. So, but it's kind of just to give these families a night out and a way to have the community sort of gather around and support them. So I'm super excited. It's obviously, I'm a little nervous because I've never played hockey on TV before, but I've been out for a skate the last couple of days, and I feel okay about it. I feel okay. So.
And overall, Kevin, how's the morale as the build, to getting back? And who knows if we'll ever see it the way we saw it before, but what's the overall feeling amongst the community?
LA we sort of get a bad rap, but people, it's a town of tough people. This is not a place where soft people come. It's a rough place, and I think it's been nice just objectively to look around, and I've noticed a lot of people sort of coming together and being proud to sort of say, like, this is our place and we're gonna get through this. It can be a little isolated here, and so I think people assumed, like, oh, don't worry about it, it's only the rich people's houses who burn down, which isn't true, first of all. But I think it's actually been nice. I raised my kids here, so it's been really nice to see the community come together and support each other. And on the weekends, I've been taking my kids to this clothing drive for people. People lost everything, so people don't have underwear and socks, and so we've gone, and it's just been nice to see the community come together in a sort of day-by-day basis, because I think people just, when you think about, people don't have anything. They don't have their passports, so people need help with a lot of stuff right now. And so it's been nice to, try to help people wherever possible. And I think that's what this game is trying to do, is like, everything can't just be about giving people something. Like, for this, it's sort of like, let's do something fun. Let's have a night where you can take your kids, you can watch people mess around. It's going to be a fun night, and it's why I'm excited to be a part of it. The
event is Skate for LA Strong, February 23rd, 3 p.m., crypto.com arena. Hey, Kevin, thanks for joining us. And listen,
thanks for the support too, man.
You're welcome here anytime. Like, we'll kick Sammy out for a day to bring you and hang out with us between gigs.
I don't know if I can do the stress sweat the same way.
Boys, look how handsome that guy is. Don't kick him out. I'll never come back.
Hey,
you need that sweaty Maple Leafs fan energy on your show.
You also need great hair, which you qualify for our show.
Thank you. Yeah, by the way, it's all three great heads of hair.
All right, Kev, enjoy your weekend, my friend. Thank you for joining us.
Right,
Kevin
boys.
Zegers, Canada's own. That was awesome.
Really great,
yeah, it was great.
And what a great event, and what a great thing they're doing. So glad to have that chat.
Yeah, and Luc Robitaille has been kind enough to come on our show, and
man.
he's real busy at times, and then he's just the most humble guy you'll ever meet, getting us pins that he got drafted in 40 years ago.
The Kings president, like, one of our jovial recurring guests?
I know.
He just comes on and gives it his best. So love that guy.
What a lineup, by the way, at this event. The players include our own Kevin Bieksa as well, by the way. Mark Messier, Jordan Nolan, Bill Ranford.
Yeah, I hope they do a terrific job of raising
Yandel.
awareness and money and whatever comes of it.
What was the NHL thing you wanted to talk about before the break? I forgot. Was it Lankinen?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So just
5-year deal for Lankinen. Yeah. Did anyone else immediately go, oh, no, Demko? Is he okay?
Well, he's out.
Signed this year in a PTO, though, Lankinen?
Demko's back hurt.
Yeah.
Like what is going on?
The same thing? Either way, that they're like, okay, let's lock up Lankin, and my first reaction to the contract was, oh no, Demko.
Well, he's proven that he's very capable this year.
Yeah.
I don't know. Does he fall off the face of the earth by this time next year?
Hey, Steve Valiquette at the start of the year, last year, said that Stolarz was the next guy to pop off, was right. And then the start of this year, he said it'd be Lankinen, and he nailed that too. So my point is, Lankinen was not a fluke. This is not a one-off guy who came out of nowhere. His underlying numbers, his analysis is supposed to be good.
Yeah, I'll agree with that, and I'll include Stolarz there as well for the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's not about to drop off.
No.
So
just so does he get the Lankinen contract? Is he going to be around? I understand that Stolarz has another year.
He has
left,
another year, but he's eligible to sign July 1st. Hey, let's just watch this thing play out.
Yeah, you got time.
But I think the bigger question is Demko a free agent after the next year? Does he have 1 year left after this at $5 million, or is his? I don't think he's a UFA at the end of this year.
Demko has next year. So $5 million next year.
There's always
it's a smart signing
for sure. But with Demko, there's always been the trade stuff with him. Like it felt that there's a minute there where you could get him, and I don't know if he's what you'd get for him or what it is, but always feels like it's been kind of a percolating with him.
Demko playing as a top 5 NHL goalie for me.
For sure.
So good.
When he's healthy.
Correct.
Which is not very
tough.
often. Yep.
Tough right
Yeah.
now.
Tough to.
What do you got for us?
Guys.
So we do have a few more Canada line callers.
Okay.
We've never done this in our national hour, and I guess we could subject some of our Vancouver and Calgary fans to this, but it's all mostly Canada stuff. There's a couple Leaf things mixed in, but I don't remember which ones I've played. Let's go to Mike in Northern California.
What a day. I just wanted to get some thoughts from the guys on how you think 88, 34, and 16 come out of this tournament. And if you think they're going to learn anything from a leadership standpoint and what they have to do to add more dimensions to their game to make a deep run. I hope everyone has a great day. Let's get it off the rails, and love you boys.
Thank you. Yeah. I don't want to over or understate it on what this does for anybody, but in particular, he's talking about the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're still relatively the same players they were before.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like Marner's going to now run over everybody in a playoff series. He's still going to be the same guy that tries to go out there, make plays. And, if it gets to the point where a few more guys can finish off plays and he can get a big save every once in a while, it'll be enough for you to think that this was the turning point of
the
anybody.
Implication with this Marner stuff is that you think he's been really good all the way along, and people just start shooting it in for him.
Pretty good. He's been pretty consistent. In saying that, I don't know whether or not Marner, Nylander, Matthews, and Tavares have ever been the right mix to win a playoff series either.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, you would have hoped one of them would have a bit of a Sam Bennett or Brady Tkachuk in them, but this is not the way the management team went.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you can blame it on each one of them individually, or you can say also collectively it was never truly the right mix of 4 guys.
Yeah.
They've waited for it to be the right mix for so long.
They've waited.
Yeah.
Is this the year?
To answer the question, I think, it's really healthy for these guys to be in those high stakes environment, and you have great coaches behind you, different voices. You can feel what it's like when John Cooper, how he handles the bench in those moments, and see Sid and McKinnon between intermissions going into these big moments. I think it's just healthy to have that vibe that, like, oh, they don't reinvent the wheel. They don't go in there and do something no one else does. It's the same. Everyone's just trying, and I think it's healthy for them for sure. And I'm with you. They're not going to be different players.
They're
but I
all
think it's
very
healthy.
good players.
Yes.
All very good in their own way.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, is this the year that it's the right mix? And it can't hurt.
Can't hurt.
Right? Can't hurt.
Let's go to Mike from England.
I might have an English accent now, but I was born in Canada, raised in Canada, and I'll always be a proud Canadian. Last night was amazing. We got finished at 4:30 a.m. UK time, but I couldn't sleep afterwards. I was absolutely pumped, and you guys are getting me through today. So with the time difference, I'm going to open a bottle of wine tonight, listen to the show, and go Canada and go Leafs, go.
Okay,
The
first of
world
all,
over. I love it.
it is amazing. Like, sometimes I do forget, like, we're talking to every part of the world
It's actually
possibly.
extremely cool.
And I look at Sammy and I look at you and I'm like, I can forget
You're just talking to two local
where
idiots.
this is going right now. England, Northern California. Somebody in Greece is listening. Opa!
How about Jeremy in Dallas?
Okay.
Woo! Hey boys, Canadian fan here from Dallas, and wow, what a game! What a game! Leafs fan too, so got the best of both worlds last night. Gosh, it just felt so good winning that game with all the stupid rhetoric and all the. But I got to tell you, being out here, nobody takes the president's trolling seriously. No one really thinks about it. But the game did grow from this. And, Kyper, despite what you said yesterday, it's excellence that grows the game. And, and excellence can mean, fighting, a lot of passion, a lot of intensity, a lot of playing. But this is what's been missing in Canada, for years since they've shut down all these international tournaments. And this tournament was fantastic to grow the game because it showcased how amazing these players are. Last night's game was electric, fast. My goodness, Canada was definitely the better team. I was over the moon that we won. It's always great to beat the U.S., especially when you're hanging out here in the U.S. itself. Go Canada. Excited for you boys. Have a great show today.
Yeah, see, I love that. Great way to finish the week by Jeremy in Dallas, because he's right. It's not about the skating. It's not about the passing. It's not about the fighting. It's not about the hitting. You know what Jeremy just said? It's about the character. Character is what last night was truly about. And we just had a little bit more.
I'll tell you, I get Sport Logic stats. At the end of the game, the puck battle percentage, the winning percentage, was 50.8 to 49.2 for Canada. We just won an extra battle or two.
I'm just giving shout-outs all over the place today, but one of my great friends, Mike Snyder, texted me this morning, and he said, the Americans are characters. The Canadians have character.
We never really got into, like, the Kachucks became stars. Like, American stars here. The start of that Canada game put them on the map in the U.S., and you're right now, it's like, what do you do with it now? Can you run with it? Can you hold that?
Yeah. Like
Brady Tkachuk, I got people texting me, he's meant to be in Boston.
Brady still has an issue with bringing it every night for the Ottawa Senators.
Does he? Yeah,
he does. He's still got a guy. He's still a guy that got the captaincy early there and has had some success, but he really needs to get the Ottawa Senators into a playoff spot here moving forward, and he needs to show up a lot more consistent for the Ottawa Senators, like he showed up Saturday night and last night.
I mean, does he not seem like he's tailor-made for the playoffs? Like someone who would be just
He's
built?
getting there.
Yeah.
He's getting there.
I wrote about this, and I do believe this, that, like, there's a maturity of, like, he needs to play hockey, not sometimes just try to be the toughest guy after the whistle, but boy, is he built for that type of hockey.
Yeah. I don't want to. Listen, I'm going to be a nice guy because we're on all over the country, and I want to be unifying today, but he's going to be the captain of the Blues in 2 years. Anyways.
The Blues?
Yeah. I just think he's going to go to the Blues.
He could end up with his brother.
Florida?
If you're the parents, like, put them together. I only want to visit you once, twice, together. Like, why do I have to go to two teams?
Can they do that?
Why do I have to go to two cities? Just play together. The Hughes brothers will be the same way.
All three Hughes on the Devils soon?
Yes. I want one trip.
We just
see all
offended
three
Ottawa
of you.
and Vancouver so much. None of that's happening.
Yeah. Well,
I will say.
They've got the power now to build that way families like
Player
this.
empowerment.
They have they are.
A collective sigh from the nation. We love you. We appreciate the support. It's been a great 2 weeks.
All right, hockey fans, choose to watch this weekend or take the weekend off, catch your breath, start up Monday. Either way, you know where you're going to find us Monday.
We'll be there
on the Real Kyper and Bourne Show. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. If you get a chance, download us or watch us on YouTube and give us a thumbs up. Love to hear from you on a rating and review as well. Have a great weekend, everybody.